Hmm. Hold on a second, folks. I thought it was my car, but it's not. Sorry. Give me a second here. I want to make sure that, yeah, we're good. A car alarm went off and sounded similar to my car. So I was just checking things out. Anyway, we're live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How are you all doing? It's a beautiful day here today in Redwood City, California, where I live. It's about 70 degrees, a slight breeze, and I'm out and about on another walk with purpose, episode number 692. We're almost at 700. Wow, God. Seems like yesterday we just hit 600. Oh, God, we're almost at 700. And I'm assuming by the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, we'll be at 1,000. That's when I estimate we're going to hit the big 4-digit number, 1,000 episodes of Walking with Purpose. Oh, man. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I have an interesting topic here to discuss that's currently trending. It's very relevant. I live in California. This does affect me directly. I'm waiting for people to turn. Outspoken welcome. Interested to hear your take on this one. Thank you. That guy just said, I like your setup, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a lot of work to get this set up properly over the years, so it's nice to hear that from the public. It's nice to hear a decent human being pay another decent human being a compliment, right? Hey, Patty, how are you doing? Patty, I've been trying to, did you get my email by any chance? Thank you for your very generous PayPal donation. I'm not going to mention the amount, I never did. But I want to thank you for your very generous PayPal donation. It was about a week ago or so. I know you've been pretty busy with stuff, but hopefully you got my email. And I did. You're welcome. Well, thank you again. I don't forget. I don't forget. You know, we really need to appreciate people more in this world for the things they do, and not downplay the appreciation. You know, I've always been the kind of person that feels, hey, if someone's going to part ways with their hard-earned money to support my business, and especially if they're going to donate to pay me money just because I'm talking on a camera and into a microphone, I feel very blessed that people are willing to do that. I mean, I look at it that seriously, right? So thank you again, Patty, for your very generous PayPal donation. Have not spent it yet. It's going all to Dawn. Like you said, it's going all to Dawn. Dawn thanks you too. Dawn is doing great, by the way. She's resting up. She has an appointment this Thursday with the surgery doctor for a final follow-up since her second surgery on her ankle. And things are looking really, really, really good. No problem, says Patty. You're a very humble person, Patty. I appreciate that. I recognize that. Um, yeah, so today I'm going to be discussing the the new $20 minimum wage for fast food workers here in California. This is hitting national news, probably global news. This is big news. Because obviously, this is going to set the trend for other states to follow in similar ways here in the U.S. and probably other countries to follow as well, right? And I think my opinion regarding this whole thing is going to be far different than most other people's opinions for many reasons. Number one, no disrespect, some people just do not have the level of intelligence to talk about this in a reasonable way, right? And number two, there are people in this world that are extremely selfish and inconsiderate of other people's feelings, wants, and needs. That even includes money. People are very, very greedy in this world. They want more and more and more money than they need. And that comes at the expense of taking from people that are barely scraping by to pay their astronomically high rent out here in California. And rent's going up everywhere across the U.S., but it's the most outrageous here in California and all the way across the coast in New York, the two most expensive places to live. Then maybe like Boston area, Massachusetts, a close third after that. People are barely scraping by. Hey Sharon, how you doing? Sharon, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I want to say this because I've moved on from all the drama and stuff, and you're more than welcome here, and I still believe in you and want to help you. But I want to give you a little bit of advice, Sharon. You got to ignore that entire group of drama people because all they're doing is using you for content. That's all they were doing with me, is using me for content. Right? They don't hate you. They don't hate me. They talk about us and they amp things up because their audience donates. And all we have to do is stop feeding into it, right? Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, but see, here's the thing, Sharon. You've known me for many years now, right? You've known me for many years. By the way, is the audio good, folks? Audio and video good? We should be. You've known me for many years, Sharon, and you know I used to feed into these people. And I used to not even really actually feed into them. I would defend myself. But what was I defending myself against? I was defending myself against made-up lies. They know a lot of the stuff is lies, but all they want is the reaction to entertain their audience. Whether it's a lie or the truth, it doesn't matter to them. So there's no point to responding and giving them the entertainment that they want and need to incite donations from their audience of people that just like this cringy type of content, right? It's hard to see right now. If I didn't have my shades on, I would be like blind. I'm happy that they're raising fast food wages, but in all honesty, a lot of fast food employees have subpar customer service skills, so I hope that drastically improves other wages. Improves and other wages increase too. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. That's a good point. Outspoken. Yeah, Sharon, I'm not paying attention to any other streams or anything like that. So, you know, I mean, you can watch whatever you want to watch. You can debunk whoever you want to debunk. I've had my say with these people, and there's nothing more to say. There's nothing left to say. And I'm trying to get you and many others to understand that all this group wants to do is try to antagonize you, continue antagonizing you, continue antagonizing me, and antagonize anyone that will feed into them so they can use you as a puppet to entertain their audience. It doesn't matter what's said, as long as you react, whether it's true what they're saying or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is they want your reaction. If you give it to them, it's gold to their audience and gold to them. Their audience will donate to that. It's just stupid. But I got your back, Sharon. I know exactly what you're going through. I support you. I just really wish everyone that is unhappy with what that group is doing to create content would just ignore them, and they'll find other people to do this too. Now, they shouldn't do it to anyone, but that's on them, right? Hey, Random, how you doing? Hey, Eli, hope you're doing well. Sharon says, be right back, got a call. All right. So let's get right to this, okay? Give me a second real quick before we get to it. All right, we are back live. We are back live. A little bit of wind. I don't think it's going to be a problem for the windscreen. By the way, for those of you that are new and don't know what this is a windscreen pop filter. If I didn't have this on, at least at this size, you wouldn't be able to hear me. This cuts out the wind and allows for great quality sound so you folks can actually hear what I'm saying. That's for the new people that haven't been around. Anyway, so what are my thoughts regarding this $20 minimum wage increase here in California for fast food workers? There's also going to be an increase for healthcare workers coming up, I think it's July 1st when that's going to be going into play, and I think it's for a similar amount, $20. Right now in California, the minimum wage is $16 per hour. Now, each individual city can raise that minimum wage. I believe here in Redwood City, it was $17 an hour. I think they increased it to like $17.50 or something. So the thing is, each city has to at least abide by the California statewide minimum wage, which is $16 per hour currently right now. But other cities can make it greater, right? Okay? So you have to understand that there are cities that have a minimum wage of 17. I think some cities even have a minimum wage of $18 an hour. So to get a $2 or $3 pay increase for these food workers to $20 an hour really isn't that much. It isn't that much. But it is necessary. I honestly feel the minimum wage should be $20 an hour for everyone, minimum right now, all over California. Minimum $20 for any job that you do where you are a W-2 hourly employee, okay? This does not include independent contractors. You're exempt from this. If you are a salaried employee, you are exempt from California labor laws or labor laws in your state too. It goes by state, but most states have similar labor laws as California. We just have the strictest labor laws in the country here. Okay? So hey Patty, Eli's a good guy. Oh, Patty, Patty's been around for a while. She's a channel member and a moderator, and yeah, thank you, Random. I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words. So I feel the minimum wage here in California should be at least $20 per hour for everyone, not just food workers. But this is a start, right? Now, when I started working, I was 15 and a half. In 1989, I was working in a movie theater. The minimum wage had just gone from $3.35 to $4.25 per hour. So, in the early 90s, when I first started driving, gas was $1 per gallon, 99 cents, $1. Let's just go dollar, right? In the early 90s, gas was $1 per gallon, even here in California and the Bay Area. Okay? The minimum wage was $4.25 per hour, right? So, fast forward to 2024, and over the last several years, the average price of 1 gallon of gas here in California has been $5 a gallon. We all know that. Sometimes it goes down to 4, usually doesn't go below 4. Sometimes now it goes up to 6. In other parts of California, like Southern California, it goes up to 7 or 8. It's ridiculous. But let's take the average price of gas in California is about $5 a gallon, right? Okay, when I first started driving in the early 90s, it was $1 a gallon. Gas has gone up 5 times, right? Gas is 5 times more expensive in 2024 than it was in like 1990, 1991, right? Okay. So we are looking at what, 34, 35 years ago, something like that? 34 years ago, right? Okay. Minimum wage right now is $16 per hour, with the exception of the fast food workers are now $20 an hour starting today. So if gas has gone up 5 times the cost of what it was when the minimum wage was $4.25 about 34, 35 years ago, if you take 5 times $4.25, you're looking, I believe it's $21.25, right? So if minimum wage was in alignment in the early 90s with the price of gas and the cost of rent, mortgage, etc., the cost of living, if everything was in alignment according to the $4.25 minimum wage, according to inflation now, minimum wage for everyone here in California should be at least $21.25 per hour. And even with this $20 increase for fast food workers, it's still less than the level of inflation that's risen. Does that make sense so far? Do you folks understand what I'm saying here? I want to make sure you understand this comparison, because I want to share with you folks how much money I was making at my peak before I became self-employed. First almost 18 years I was working in retail and retail management. I'm going to share with you folks what I was making at the peak of working in the actual workforce and before I became self-employed. What the cost of living was back then rent-wise, and what the cost of living rent-wise is today compared to the minimum wage. Okay? To you people out there that just don't understand this and you want to complain about every little thing, and you think there's something wrong with this wage increase, there's something wrong with how you feel about yourself and how you feel about other people. You have no empathy for other people. You have no consideration towards other people's feelings, wants, and needs. That's a big fucking problem nowadays. People are so damn selfish that they don't care if they have to kick someone down to make money, right? And that's totally wrong, in my opinion. I'm a God-loving man. I wasn't raised to be that way. I was raised to make my money a fair way without hurting other people. I was raised to share in everything, including making money. But not everyone thinks that way. Outspoken. My issue is I've been at my job for 12 years, and every time they do these wage increases, they level us long-time associates out with those that are just starting. And no, I don't work fast food. No, I understand, dude. I understand. But if you're at a job and you're making $25 an hour, and the minimum wage goes from $16 to $20 an hour, you should get an increase of $29 an hour. If not, then you're not being paid fairly according to the level of inflation, right? I get what you're saying, dude. I get what you're saying. But that's what greedy employers do. They don't increase your pay according to inflation and the cost of living, right? So again, like I said, if minimum wage is going from $16 to $20 per hour, you know, everyone that's an hourly employee, regardless of their rate, should go up $4 per hour. That would only be fair, right? But no, it's not going to happen, right? You know it's not going to happen because there's no law that's forcing employers to do it. I think there should be a law that forces employers to raise everyone's hourly wages from where they're at according to the level of what minimum wage increases to. So again, if minimum wage goes up $4 an hour in your state and you're making $30 an hour, you should get an automatic increase of $34 per hour. Does that make sense? I agree with TFT. TFT wages go up, companies pass that on to the consumer. I understand that, TFT, but there's more. The problem is we've already been paying inflated prices before these minimum wage increases. And like I've said, one of the major contributors, in my opinion, that's affected the economy is DoorDash and Uber with their severely inflated prices and people being lazy to use the service instead of going to pick up the food themselves. And like I mentioned on my show yesterday, instead of, if you're going to pick up food, don't even place pickup orders from the DoorDash or Uber app because it's going to cost you 20 to 30% more than just simply downloading the app from that particular restaurant, right? I used to order Panda Express from Uber. And today I downloaded the Panda Express app because now I have a bunch of apps where I just put my credit card in there and I order the food directly from that restaurant's app for pickup. I get the same price as I would be paying at the store without the DoorDash or Uber inflated prices. I also get to earn points and discounts. They offered me what? I think $10 off my first order. Like $20 or more. I'm going to use that tonight. So part of what's affecting prices going up, a huge part, is the food delivery service. Yes, is the minimum wage going up going to raise prices more? More than likely, yes. But prices were already going up many years ago. And I firmly believe the DoorDash and Uber Eats food delivery service and Grubhub and Postmates, which is now owned by Uber, but they were all separate back then, all of that changed the industry. And so what's happening is we're all getting passed on the cost for people to have the convenience of having your food delivered right to your door or going through the app of DoorDash or Uber Eats, even to order pickup orders. It's very convenient to go through one app and be able to place pickup orders for any restaurant without having to download like 20 apps and putting in your information and card. But the bottom line is going to cost you a lot more. And I'm done with it. And I'm suggesting to people that you download individual apps, store your credit card in there. It's not a big deal. It's safe. And wherever you order from, use their app. You'll build points. You'll get discounts. You'll get the same price as if you were to walk into the restaurant. You won't pay the inflated fees. That's part of the issue. Prices have been going up. You're right. Prices have been going up for decades. Well, before these apps were even a dream in their creators' eyes. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Well before, yes. Outspoken, I agree with TFT, though. It's just going to cause things to go up, and the inflation games will continue. Right. Right. So, I tried a new Chinese spot today, inspired by our combo last night, but they did not load up the plates, so I will not be returning. Okay, cool. So they skimped you on the food. Okay. Yeah, you got to try things out one time, and if it's not a good enough portion, you go somewhere else. But the whole point of the conversation yesterday, Outspoken, was to get people to go directly to the business and bypass these third-party DoorDash and Uber Eats apps that are charging astronomical fees that are unnecessary for the customer. Unnecessary. It literally takes less than a minute to download an app, another minute or two to sign up with your email, put your name, email, verify your email, add your credit card, and then you can place pickup orders. Like, when I get back to my car after this walk, I'm going to load up the Panda Express app and order done and nice and Panda Express. And by the time I get there, it's going to be ready. I'll walk in, it'll be paid for. I'll get the same price as being in the store. I'll even get a discount for just signing up like they offered me. I'll walk in. I still have my DoorDash and Uber hot bags. I'll put it in my hot bag in the car, take it home, and there we go. I save money, I save time. There you go. How simple is that? I'll do that when I can get out again. Are you, no disrespect intended, Patty, are you disabled, or are you not able to? Yeah, no worries. If you absolutely need to use the food delivery service because you're not able to go out and pick up your food due to a disability or something, that's very well understood. And God bless you if you know, whatever you're going through, please heal quickly, you know. Same thing with Dawn, you know. So I understand that. I was even saying yesterday that for people that are disabled, the government should subsidize at least some of the fees for disabled people to be able to use these delivery services more as a necessity, not as a luxury. Opening more opportunities for hackers to get your information. Yeah, but TFT, anyone can get hacked anytime, right? You're right about that. Look, you know, anyone can get hacked at any time. I mean, I choose to not live my life worrying that if I have 20 different apps on my phone because I want to save the 20 to 30% in fees. I'm not worrying that someone's going to hack me. If it happens, I'll deal with it. But, you know, as long as you have your phone, locked as best as possible. And if you lose your phone, you have a way to disable it, like through Apple and stuff. And then even if you do get hacked and they charge your card, the credit card companies won't hold you liable for that. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, dude. But, everything in life involves a risk, right? And I tell people, look, I used to be very paranoid myself. And I'm not really as paranoid anymore. I'm like, whatever will be, will be, It's worth the small risk to have all these different apps to save 20 to 30%. It's a lot of money. And it's what's causing a huge part in what's causing this massive inflation. So because of this massive inflation, it costs more money for people to even buy stuff at McDonald's. Let's talk about McDonald's. I shared this, I believe, last week, but I'm going to share it again, okay? Let's talk about McDonald's. God bless your new hips, Patty. Hopefully that can get you going again. I am at the moment they are going to give new hips starting May 13th. I'm not used to being this immobile. Well, God bless you, Patty. I hope you recover very fast. These apps are a luxury service. Now, yes, there are people in need that are forced to use them, and I feel for them. Yeah, but here's the thing, TFT Rurik. I understand. I've always agreed that these apps are a luxury service, but most people don't care about that. That's why you still see a lot of no-tip, no-trip orders, right? And here's the thing. Yeah, there may be a group of people that can afford the luxury service price, but because of them, the rest of us are paying for it as well. Okay? The rest of us are paying for it as well. Because the prices at restaurants, fast food and regular restaurants, the prices were already going up and were already increased even before the 15 to 30% increase that Uber and DoorDash charge. So not only were they already increased probably 10 to 20%, in some cases 50%, I'll share about that in a bit. Now they've been increased 50% plus another 15 to 30% if you get it Ubered or DoorDashed, whether you pick it up or get it delivered, right? So let me give you an example here, okay? You remember the dollar menu where you used to get a double cheeseburger at McDonald's for $1? This was like, what, four or 5 years ago? You know what a double cheeseburger costs you right now? $4. A double cheeseburger has gone up 400%. A double cheeseburger has gone up 400 fucking percent. Don and I love double cheeseburgers, and we pay that money because we love them. And it's still cheaper than going to a regular restaurant at times, but a double cheeseburger was on the dollar menu, $1. A soft serve cone was $1. Now it's $3 for a fucking soft serve cone at McDonald's. Quarter pounder with cheese is $7 to $8, depending on where you get it. It used to be $3 around $3. So these prices were already going up before Uber and DoorDash. So you take these prices, you take a 400% increase on a double cheeseburger, add 30% to that with, if you get it delivered or picked up, or you pick it up through Uber or DoorDash, right? That now makes that double cheeseburger $4 and, sorry, my apologies, $1.20 is 30% of $4, $5.20 for a double cheeseburger if you get it through Uber or DoorDash. And now you wonder why people can't afford to pay their bills that work in the fast food industry or any industry. That's why they're being increased to $20 per hour. Everyone should be increased to $20 per hour, not just fast food workers. Everyone should be. Everyone is paying these astronomically sky-high prices. Fast food, the prices at fast food have gone up anywhere from 100 to 500%. Can you fucking believe that? R.I.P. to the dollar menu. A $10 bill used to get you a feast at Mickey. Right, dude. Listen, man, you could go to McDonald's and get 3 double cheeseburgers for $3. You could get a large coffee on the dollar menu, $4. A soft serve ice cream cone, $5. For $5 plus tax, you got 3 double cheeseburgers. Now, I'm not going to eat 3 double cheeseburgers, but if I was buying for my family or friends, right? 3 double cheeseburgers, a large coffee, and an ice cream cone for $5. And then large fries. I think one of them was on the dollar menu, but the large fries used to be like $1.79 or $2. Now large fries are like $4 and something. Large fries are over $4. Holy Moses, man! You got to be kidding me. But that's my luck more than anything. I don't see many no-tip orders. Well, you're in a good market, bro. I mean, not every market is like yours. I mean, we've talked about this many times, and Fresno, the cost of living is a little bit cheaper. You're in a college town. Parents are sending their kids to school. So there's some money there, and there's a high need for it, right? But even then, my brother went to Fresno State University, and I'd go visit him, all the time with our friends when he was going to college there over 30 years ago. These services were not available back then. All we would do is we'd run down the street to a Taco Bell or McDonald's or a pizzeria or something like that. Domino's or whatever, right? Yeah, Domino's delivering, but that was about it, right? And you would pay a premium for Domino's to deliver, right? Even the Domino's premium that you would pay wasn't as much as the DoorDash and Uber premium is today. But that's what we would do. We would go and get our own food and bring it back. And part of the fun was getting out and taking a nice drive instead of sitting on our lazy asses and having someone hand deliver us everything, right? Now, I know you enjoy driving and I know you enjoy the money, and that's cool. Like I respect you, TFT Rurik, but you're the rare exception to this, man. You're like in the perfect market at the right time. You're at the right place at the right time, and it works, but for most people it doesn't, right? I understand that. I totally understand that. I feel really good today. I'm almost halfway done. And it's 38 minutes. Wow. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm getting to the end pretty quick. That's 1 3/4 miles and 1 3/4 miles back, 3.5 miles. It's all good in the hood. Richard T. I pack a sandwich when I do deliveries and some bottles of water. I budget my money and don't waste it on fast food. Good. Outspoken says, don't get me started on the quality of the fries. Taking a nosedive over the years. You're right about that. McDonald's fries, they still make them the same, but I think they have the deep fryer on hotter to cook them faster, which will like overcook them, right? No, you're right about that. I mean, it's still the same ingredients and all that. It's just that, in order to serve more people quicker, they crank up the heat. Which, if you're frying stuff, frying stuff at a hotter level to cook it faster is not going to cook everything as best as possible using that method. You can totally tell when places are busy and they crank up the heat to cook things faster, things turn out shittier, right? But that's part of what makes the business work. They want to serve as many people as possible. to be profitable. Now here's the complaints regarding this. You know, I've been watching some YouTube videos on this. There was they interviewed a McDonald's franchise owner here in Northern California that owns I think 15 McDonald's, right? And yeah, he pays a franchise fee, right? And he was complaining that this is going to affect his bottom line and all that. And, you know, we have all these expenses to pay and franchise fees and all that. Here's the thing. The dude's still going to be profitable. He might end up making 5% less profit, maybe 10% less profit over this. Do you think that this minimum wage increase is really going to affect any of these business owners? No. The only way it will affect them is if they lose sales, because people don't want to spend more money with these increased prices. Now, the prices have already gone up before this. Now, if the prices go up even more, like let's say now for a double cheeseburger, it's $4. If the double cheeseburger goes to $5 or $6, I'm never going to buy a fucking double cheeseburger at McDonald's again. If that's the case, that's what will probably put these businesses under. They need to raise the minimum wage, keep the prices where they're at right now, and work on volume. These employees will be making more money. They'll be more efficient. They'll give better service. You'll get more customers in and out, happy, fewer refunds, and you will be just as profitable, or if not more profitable. So do these owners of these, fast food restaurants that are paying the franchise fee, right? Because they're typically franchised from McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, whatever, right? I don't feel sorry for you. Quit whining and complaining. All of you have been paying your employees slave wages to make you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And because you might make 10% less, you don't want to take that money and reward the employees that have made you rich? Give me a freaking break. These are amazingly greedy people that are whining and complaining about this. This is absolutely the best thing that could have happened for our workers out here in California, and they need to increase it more. The minimum wage should be $21.25 right now for all workers, not just fast food workers. And I'm telling you, at some point, it's going to get there. And to those of you out there that don't like our California government and don't like Gavin Newsom has done phenomenal things for the state. Gavin Newsom has done great things for the state. And if every state had a Gavin Newsom, this country would be in a much better place. There'd be less fighting. Everything would be more fair. Don't get me started. Okay, I've already read that. Folks, please smash the thumbs up and please share this out. I would greatly appreciate it. Give me a second, I'll be right back. All right, we are back live. We're going to start heading on back. Going to start to head on back. Come on, switch. Got a nice plane flying into the San Carlos airport. Look at the sun. Today is a beautiful day. This is the perfect weather. 70 degrees. Don't need a jacket. Got the shades on. Getting my vitamin D. I've been vitamin D deficient lately because of this. There hasn't been much sun. In those cases, I got to remember to take my 5,000 IU extra strength, D3 supplements. Don takes those every day. Don's got a great supplement regimen and a great medication regimen. And man, she's just doing so amazing. When you folks see Dawn again, you're going to be like, wow, she's just doing amazing. She is a trooper. She is such a trooper, I'll tell you that. She's one of the strongest I've ever come across, and I respect her for that. And I love her to death for that. We got a bunch of people coming on the trail at the same time. It's all good. I want to be respectful and try to keep them off camera as much as possible. Richard T says, life is unfair. It was fair. If it was fair, D would be twice as big and my head full of hair. If it was, well, well, bro, your D would be twice. You should be happy with the size of your D as is, bro. You got to work with what you've got. It's all about the confidence, right? And I got the same thing going on. I got the bald head. I started losing my hair in my mid-20s. I just started shaving my head. And believe it or not, a lot of women actually like men with a shaved head. I used to have insecurities about it. I'm not going to lie, like in my 20s and stuff. As I got older, I started to realize, women are like, oh, I like a guy with a bald head, a guy that's fit, bald head. It's all good, hair or no hair. That doesn't make the person. Now, some women are picky, but a lot of them are not. You just have to filter out the ones that are picky, right? It is what it is. So I firmly believe that the minimum wage increase for fast food workers is fantastic and absolutely necessary. Now we need to get the same thing for all workers. And if we're going to level out or level off the minimum wage along with the cost of living, the minimum wage needs to be at least at $21.25 for everyone here in California. Now, in other states, the cost of living is less, right? And, I think in other states, the minimum wage is much more in alignment with the cost of living. But here in California, because we're in a very weird place where we've got like a special blend of gas we pay more for because of the environment. Because we're the high-tech capital of the world, there's a high demand for housing here, okay? Where there's more demand, there's going to be less supply, and that drives the cost up, right? So that's the difference out here. Plus, we have some of the best weather in the entire world here. That's what we pay for. Just gotta take a moment to enjoy watching the plane fly by. So I was gonna compare what I was making at the height of my my retail management career. Now, I had some salary jobs and some hourly jobs, but even the salary jobs, I'm going to convert what I was making into a salary into an hourly wage. And the way you do that, for example, you take your hourly wage, or sorry, you take your total annual salary and you divide it by 2,080 hours. Okay? You take your entire salary. Let's say you make like 60K or 70K or 100K. You take 100K and you divide that by 2,080 hours, which is a full work year for a full-time W-2 employee. 2,080 hours. And then you get your hourly wage, right? So for this example purpose, this was a salary job I had as a store manager where I was salaried, but I'm going to share my hourly wage. I'm going to tell you how long ago this was. I'm also going to share with you what my rent was during that time and what the rent is for the same place I was renting out back then, what it is now, right? And I think my example is going to blow your mind because I really wasn't making that much more than what these minimum wage food workers are getting paid now. I'm going to wait for these people to pass on by. So I'm going to sit down here for a second. Let me see. Patty says Florida economy is a lot like California. It is because you have, I wouldn't say your cost of living is anywhere near ours. It's not extremely cheap, but it's not extremely expensive to live in Florida. It's not as expensive to live in Florida anywhere compared to the San Francisco Bay Area or California. But yes, I mean, you've got great weather there. You've got nice beaches, but you also have to deal with hurricanes, tornadoes. All we deal with are earthquakes here. We don't deal with hurricanes and tornadoes. And, you know, that's part of what drives up the cost of living here is that you're less likely to deal with natural disasters. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I get it. I totally understand, Patty. Economics 101, basic economics. The higher you raise the minimum wage, the more expensive everything else becomes. Two, because production costs go up with it. It's an endless cycle. Raise average wages, prices go up. It's like a dog chasing its tail. I understand that, economics 101. The point I'm trying to make is that minimum wage has not been in alignment with the cost of living for probably over 20 years now. So the bottom line is inflation way surpassed minimum wage years ago. And minimum wage needs to catch up with inflation. In order to do that, from my estimate, however you want to say it, compared to how it was when I started working over 30 years ago when the minimum wage in the early 90s was $4.25. And now, take gas prices are 5 times more expensive than they were back then. So multiply 5 times $4.25. What are you looking at? $21.25. The minimum wage here in California should be at least $21.25, but it is not. It is $16 per hour, with some cities in the state being $17, $18 an hour. And now all fast food workers in the state are at $20 an hour. Even then, in order to catch up with inflation, minimum wage needs to be $21.25 for everyone. So that's my point. My point is that even if you were to pay everyone 21, 25 an hour minimum, according to how much you've already risen the prices, everyone would still make a fair profit. The problem is nowadays people are fucking greedy and they want to make a killing. So I get what you're saying, economics 101, but I think I make a very good point and making a lot of sense. Do you think that Tony Hsiu, is greedy with his $1 billion and his two friends that started DoorDash with him? They're all worth over $1 billion. Do you think he needs that much money to survive? What if Tony Hsiu was worth $100 million? He'd still have more money than he could ever imagine, right? And how much more of that money could Tony reinvest in helping the drivers repair their cars, pay for their insurance and other things? But no, he's greedy. These people are complaining because they want to make a killing more than they need. And all I'm saying is that why not level it off? Give everyone enough to survive a decent lifestyle, right? And end this BS of selfishness. That's what it boils down to, man. That's exactly what it boils down to. That's the truth of the matter. I'm going to wait for these people to pass on by before I continue. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, we're back live. We are back live. Patty says my daughter did her internship in San Francisco, and it was unreal back in the day for her rent and food. Well, wait till you hear this. Economics 101. The implementation of the base minimum wage was a major factor to the clause of wages not keeping up with the cost of living today. Well, it shouldn't be that way, bro. Get what you're saying, dude. But the bottom line is this. Minimum wage needs to be in alignment with inflation and the cost of living. And it's not. It hasn't been. It's not fair. We're being price gouged. The rich get richer. The poor get poorer. That's bullshit, man. That's absolute horse shit. It is. I understand where you're coming from, but you're thinking about it from the standpoint of the top maybe 1%, maybe 10% of people that have the majority of the money, right? That's called greed. It's corporate greed. It's just greed in general, man. And I'm not for that. I'm for the people. I've always been for the people. Now, let me tell you my story, okay? At the peak of my career in retail and retail management, the most I made was $28 per hour. Now, you would say that's a pretty good amount of money even in today's time. It is okay money in today's time, but it's not great. But was it even great back when I made that money? I think it was 18 years ago when I made that money, right? And then I ended up leaving that job because it was a long drive and some other things. And I took a slight pay cut where I was making I think $24 an hour closer to home. I'll take a $4 pay cut to be closer to home anytime because it saves wear and tear on your car, gas, sitting in traffic on the freeways, totally worth it, right? What do you suppose your wage would be now if you kept that job? Probably not much higher. I can tell you that same job right now might pay $30 to $35 an hour, maybe. But, so, 18 years ago, give me a second here, I love these planes. 18 years ago, I was working as a store manager for Sony at the Sony Gilroy outlet store. This was near where Don used to live. Hollister, where Don used to live, is near Gilroy, the garlic capital of the world. To drive from Redwood City to Gilroy with no traffic is 50 minutes. With traffic, it's an hour and a half. And believe me, I was stuck in that traffic a bunch of times. But we look at 18 years ago, okay? We're looking at 2006. In 2006, okay, in 2006, 18 years ago, I was making $28 an hour. I was making a salary, but it came out to $28 an hour, right? My rent back then was $1,565 a month. Let's just say $1,500, okay? It was $1,500 a month for a one-bedroom apartment, okay? That same one-bedroom apartment today goes for about the same price as I pay for the mortgage at the house that I live at. And this is the one thing, and I don't care. I'm not here to prove anything to these pathetic drama people. I've moved past it. I'm done with it, right? But that's one of the main reasons why I ended up moving back into the house and renting out the in-law unit, which is where Dawn and I live now, because the cost of apartments doubled in the last 18 years. But did the wages double? No, right? So $28 an hour got you much further back in 2006, 18 years ago, than it gets you today, right? But was $28 an hour even enough for me to survive and pay $1,565 a month for rent? I barely made ends meet. Remember, you're paying rent, and rent is taking up almost half of your money. Then you have car insurance, right? Then you have gas for your car. Then you have gas, electric, water, sewer, and all utilities, right? Then you have food, right? And then if you want to go out and have some fun, whatever's left over, which is not much at that point, you have a little extra money. So rent was half the cost 18 years ago, and I was making $28 an hour 18 years ago, and I barely made it, right? And that's why I left retail, because I wanted to become self-employed, and I ended up making more money. And when rent kept going up, that's when I decided to move back into the house I grew up in, because the in-law unit was finished, a separate part of the house, a big part of the house, and I could pay for the mortgage there instead of paying $3,000 plus in rent. Why would anyone do that? Why would you not invest that into your own family's properties? I don't give a shit if people say, oh, you live with your mommy, this and that. No, we share the house. And Dawn does her part too. And I'm not here to explain. I don't feel the need to explain to anyone. I'm just saying, I'm using this for example purposes to show you folks what you got to do to survive, right? And why this minimum wage increase is critical. It's necessary. So when you look at $28 back then, $28 an hour back then, which is $8 more than these food workers are getting 18 years later, right? And the $28 was barely even enough for me to survive back then. Do you even think $28 is enough to survive nowadays? With $28 an hour, can you afford $3,000 a month rent? You certainly can't do it with 28. You can't do it with 20. Do you folks get the point here? The San Francisco Bay Area and pretty much California is one of the most inflated housing markets. And we have the most inflation here in the entire world. It's astronomical. I've lived it. And I've overcome it because I made smart choices. I got into selling insurance at the right time. I got my licenses. I started making more money. And I changed my living situation to investing into the family properties and living there, because it was a good situation for me to do it. and for my money to make a return, a future return on a property that's eventually going to come to me. But I love helping out my mother and brother and family too. Why would I not do that? Anyone that would have that opportunity would do that. The people that criticize the opportunity that I had into are just not happy that they don't have the same opportunity. That's the bottom line. It's the bottom line. You then have to borrow even more at interest. Let's see. What do you suppose your wage would be now if you kept that job? I already said that. It'd probably be $30 to $35 an hour. And let me tell you, bro, that's still at $35 an hour. You could probably afford the $3,000 a month rent, but everything else would be very tight. $35 an hour is equivalent to $70,000 a year, around 75K a year. You need at least $100K a year to be able to afford a one-bedroom apartment here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Minimum $100,000. That's if you're single, living by yourself, and you have no dependents, nothing. Right? If you have dependents, a wife, kids, then your cost astronomically increases. But even as a single person, never been married, no kids, living alone, out here you need at least $100,000 a year to afford a bare bones one-bedroom apartment. Now you could probably find some apartments a little bit cheaper in the outskirts or in some of the slummy areas, but do you want to live in the slummy areas? You got to think about your safety too, right? Economics 101 says almost all the national debt is actually just compounding interest on Federal Reserve, which isn't actually federal. It is a private bank based in Puerto Rico. That is why almost every president raises the national debt more than the last one, because each president has 4 or 8 more years of the same compounding interest than the last one. Okay. What did your family do with that in-law unit when you weren't living there? It was just sitting there. It was just sitting there. My father passed away, and my mother was living in that house alone. My brother at that time was still renting, and for a while, my brother and I were both renting at the same apartment complex in Redwood City because we wanted to be close to our family, right? And at that point, it was like, I mean, it's a no-brainer. The in-law unit is like 2,000 square feet. Why would I not be willing to pay the same amount I'd be paying in rent to live at the house when I have all the privacy in the world? You know, and a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, Eli lives in the basement." If you want to call it a basement, it's the best fucking damn basement ever. I'm not trying to show off. I've worked hard for it, and yes, and you know, right now I'm looking to bring in more money. I've got savings and investments, and I'm scraping by. But I'm working towards making more money. But it's a decent place for what I'm paying for it. And it's going to the family, right? But yeah, there was nobody there. You got a 5-bedroom house that my mother lives in all alone. Why would I not take the place, pay the mortgage there instead of paying the same amount in rent for a 1-bedroom, and split the utilities 50-50. It's a no-brainer. It's a no freaking brainer. Do you folks know how many people share homes with their family members? A lot of people out here on YouTube that criticize me for doing that are doing the same thing. They're big fucking hypocrites. I'm not here to call them out on that, and I'm okay with it. I'm just saying, like, you know how many people are doing the same thing, which there's nothing wrong with that, but they're trying to amp it up and make it look like I'm some kind of fucking loser. If you think I'm some kind of fucking loser, then God bless you. God bless you. Eli should have left us with some elevator music. What do you mean by that, Patty? Well, I'm not leaving. You think I'm leaving? The reason the Federal Reserve is based in Puerto Rico is because that way no individual state laws apply to it. Thunder, what's going on, bro? Welcome to the show. Hey, Thunder, I'm glad you're here. I was told that, I guess, the other day when you donated to me, not a big deal. I'm just curious to hear the honest truth from you because I like Roy and I want to reach out to him to do some shows with him. But I was told that Roy said some nice things about me. I was also told that you donated $400 to Mr. Flex, which if you did, that's cool, bro. Not a big deal. I'm just asking you directly, is any of that true or were people like BSing me? Because I went back to try to go watch those replays and I didn't see any of that. Is someone just trying to whatever, man? What's up with that, man? What is that the real Thunder? You were cool the other day. Are you not being cool now, bro? I mean, what's the whatever, man, for? I'm asking you an honest question. Do you mind answering an honest question? I'm just curious. Hi, Donna. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. Well, you've been welcome here many times. Or welcome back to the channel. Sorry. Hope your day is going well, Donna. Thank you for continuing to be a channel member. We're going to get you moderated real soon. Just letting you know. What I gave Flex for Christmas, no biggie. I get sick of the flack and jealousy for it. Oh, I'm not jealous. I'm not criticizing you. You can donate to whoever you want to donate to. I was just told by someone that you donated $400 when yesterday or the day before after you came here and donated $20, which I appreciate. I mean, I'm not... I commend you, bro. Do what you got to do. All I'm trying to do is verify that information I got, if it was true or not, because a lot of people BS just to try to get a reaction from me and make content out of it. You know what I'm saying? Roy never trashes anybody unless they ask for it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you for clearing that up, man. Thank you for clearing that up. If you want to send me your channel link to your main channel, Thunder, I'll unban you on your main channel. Just send me an email with your channel link to Coach Eli at coacheli@melas.com. Others were very jealous of my support to Flex. I'm not jealous of anything, and I think you know that. You could donate to whoever you want to donate to. I am just not in alignment with most of what Flex says or does. I think Flex is like a whiny female dog. I don't think he knows what he's talking about half the time. I think he's just trying to fit in. I think he just stirs up the pot on purpose to get reactions from people. Right? I mean, I'm keeping it real. I'm not trying to trash anyone. I'm just saying, like, all I ever see Flex do is go on panels and try to stir up the pot on purpose to get attention. And I know many other people on YouTube that have done that, because the more they do that, the more controversy it creates, the more people that go to their channel and then technically or typically will donate because of that. And I just think that's a really shitty way to make money. I really think it's a really crappy way to build an audience, you know, to go around YouTube live stream panels and intentionally antagonizing people and not making sense with, what you're saying, right? And then always interrupting people. Flex is the most ignorant person I've ever come across on this platform. He's so ignorant. He interrupts people like on purpose. Either he does it on purpose or he doesn't realize it. But he's very antagonistic, whether he's doing it on purpose or not. And I just honestly, I don't want to deal with people like that. But if you want to donate to him, no problem. I'm not criticizing you. I'm just sharing my opinions. I just, I don't see a lot of value there. I don't. I wish him the best. I wish him no harm. But I just don't see any value. I compare Mr. Flex to a bag of rocks. No disrespect, just how I feel. That's it. Do I think he's smarter than he's acting? Yeah, he's just choosing not to act that way. That's all. Nah, Flex is the man. Like anybody, it all depends on what side of them you're on. Flex is an awesome friend. That's cool. You can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with, Thunder. And I'm not saying that, Flex is stupid or anything. What I'm saying is the way he behaves out here, for whatever reason, whether it's real or an act, just to get attention and make money through drama content, it's not my cup of tea. It's not. That's all I'm saying. Flex could be a lot smarter than we all think he is. He's just not showing us that side for whatever reason, and I just don't want to participate with people that behave that way or create that type of content out here. I don't. I think it's a waste of time. There's no value there for me. None. No disrespect. But again, I'm not going to do what the other people did to you, bro. I'm not going to criticize you. I used to do that in the past, and I'm like, you know what? If a man wants to donate money to another man for him just breathing the fresh air, that's on him, right? That's on him. Right? Or if a woman wants to do the same thing, to be fair and equal, but you know what I'm saying, it's a figure of speech. To each their own, you're right. You're right. So, going back to these fast food workers not getting $20 an hour. They've earned it. They deserve it. They deserve even more. They deserve $21.25 at least. And so do all other hourly workers that are just making the minimum state wage of $16 per hour. Everybody here in the state of California deserves at least $21.25 per hour to be right in alignment with inflation. If not, there's no way in hell you can survive out here in California unless you've got family that's helping you or you're sharing a one-bedroom apartment with 5 people. And that's what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are leasing an apartment, and you're supposed to list everyone's name, right? But they don't, right? They lease an apartment in one person's name. The rent is like $3,000 a month, and they've got 5 people living there, right? And they're each paying $600 a month, which makes it affordable, but you have no space, no privacy. What kind of a lifestyle is that? Who wants to live a life like that, right? Who wants to live a life like that, right? The cost of living, rent, food, utilities have gone up. PG&E, gas has gone up, electricity's gone up, right? Car insurance has gone up. I've been talking about it. Car insurance is going up about 20% on average for everyone across the country here in the U.S., regardless of your driving record. You could have a perfect driving record, and your insurance is still going up. I've explained that before, last week or so. It's easier for cars to get totaled nowadays because they're made of fiberglass. You tap a car today and you crack it, the insurance company will more than likely total it. They got to pay out a total claim. If you do $21 per hour, how many businesses will close and there will be fewer jobs? Richard T., these businesses will not close if they paid everyone $21 per hour because the workers would be more efficient and the customers would be happier and they would go there because they'd get better service. If you're going to pay someone a little more money, $3 or $4 more an hour, right? That's not going to really affect your bottom line that much as long as you're making the sales. You got to make constant sales, but if you're not making constant sales, then why are your doors open anyway, right? The bottom line is the franchise owners or owners of these businesses have become greedy. They've made a lot of money at the expense of the slavery of their employees. I'm sorry, Richard. I understand where you're coming from, but I disagree, right? I don't feel sorry for these business owners that have made millions of dollars at the expense of paying their employees slave fucking wages. That's the truth of the matter, bro. And DoorDash is no different with their drivers. Brian, absolutely right. Here in the U.S., it's been about paying people the least amount of money as possible and getting the most amount of work out of them as possible. That's called slavery. It is. You might as well be a slave. Right? Patty says, Eli. Oh, you could ban them. Oh, I would have banned them, Patty. I'm going to go back and ban them. No, Patty, you did the right thing. Actually, Patty, you were too nice. You timed them out, which, is one action you could have taken, but you should have banned them. Patty, I'm not like other channel owners to the minimum wage. Okay, let me get back to you, the economics channel. Give me a second. I don't get mad. I used to, not anymore, but I'm not going to remove a moderator or get mad at someone if they make a mistake modding. We'll just correct it. But, yes, please, if someone's being rude and obnoxious like they were, just ban them. This is not like those other channels you used to be a part of that let anyone go in and just spew hate because that's part of their gig that they want to use as entertainment. And then all these people wonder why they get removed from the YouTube partner program or their channels get shut down, right? Patty, thank you. You did the right thing. I think you were a little too kind, but you didn't do anything wrong. You just were making sure that you weren't doing something wrong, and I respect that. But yeah, just next time something like that, just ban them, Patty. And if I see a mistake made by you or anyone else that's mod, then I'll take care of it. It's not a big deal. We're grown-ass adults here, right? And again, I really thank you for your very generous donation, and that's all going to go to Dawn. That's all going to go to Dawn. I'm going to do something nice for her with that. And I'll let you know when I do it. But we haven't spent that money yet. Thank you. I removed him, says Patty. They will just slash their hours to compensate for the increase, forcing people to work even harder for less. No minimum wage employee I've ever known increased in efficiency due to a state increase to the minimum wage. I get what you're saying, economics. Here's the thing. This is what's cool about me having worked in the retail and retail management world decades ago for a while, because I saw this trend already starting. You see, back in the early 2000s, when I was working for Office Depot and Office Max, between 2000 and 2003, around there, and we're looking at what, 24 years ago, 23, 24 years ago, this trend was already starting. We were already cutting payroll. So most businesses were running payroll at about 10% of their sales, right? What started happening in the early 2000s when I was working in retail, wherever I would go, payroll was slashed down to 6 to 7%, which means if we didn't make enough sales, we had to send people home. So what would happen? Let's say that they would call it a forecast. Let's say your store was forecasted to make $100,000 that week, and the payroll you're supposed to hit is 6%. 6% of 100,000 is $6,000. That means you have $6,000 in payroll dollars to pay everyone for the week, including the store manager, the 2 assistant managers, and the high-paying supervisors and everyone else, right? So what we would do is we would run the report 2 to 3 times a day. We would run the sales report, and then we would run the payroll report to see how many payroll dollars we had used so far that week. And then we'd figure out the percentage. And if we weren't within the percentage, we'd have to send people home. And if we were pretty far off, let's say the last day is Saturday, because we go Sunday through Saturday, right? The last day before we close out payroll for that week is Saturday. If we needed to shave off a couple $100 in payroll that day, that means we were sending everyone home besides one manager and one employee. I had to do that at one point. For a whole day, I had to run a store with one employee and myself. Try running legally required lunch breaks and breaks with that. You do it during the slow times, and you pray to God you don't get busy while the other person is on lunch. This shit's been happening for the last 23, 24 years. It's just getting worse, right? So to all of you folks out there, you wouldn't know this unless you've worked in the retail world, in management, and seen all of these slashes were started over 2 decades ago. See, that's where my experience comes in. That's where my knowledge and experience of being a part of that comes in, and how it's affecting us in this modern world today. You're not going to get information like this anywhere else. In 1955, you could own multiple homes and vehicles, vacation every year, start businesses without debt, and raise a family of 5 on a single median income, and you still had the weekends off too. You're right, bro. You're right. She's a good lady. Who's a good lady? Who are you talking about, Patty? I must have missed that. Folks, get your final questions, comments, or concerns in the chat. We're going off the air really soon here. We are at 89 minutes, an hour and 29 minutes. That's not too bad. 3.5 miles. Not bad at all. Oh, Dawn. Yeah. Oh, okay. You're saying Dawn's like, yeah, Dawn is wonderful. Dawn is Don't get me wrong. Dawn and I both have our moments. She has her moments too, like I do. But we have big hearts and souls. That's what I love about Dawn. I've never, ever met a woman that has the heart and soul of Dawn. The only other woman that has a heart and soul like Dawn, the only other two women are my mother and my aunt. My mother and my aunt have huge hearts and souls. That's where I get it from, right? And my dad did too, right? And my brother too. But out of all the women that I've dated, like, what sold me on Dawn being my soulmate is her heart and soul. And when I met Dawn at age 47, almost 48, 2.5 years ago, I was old enough to be able to know that's what I was more so looking for in a woman over anything else. Dawn's a beautiful woman, and all the other stuff is good too. But when you get to a certain age, it's more than just about looks and sex and all that stuff. It's about the heart and soul. And not everything's going to be hunky-dory all the time. Can you live with this person? Do you love this person enough to the point of where, if hard times come up, are you willing to work through it? A lot of the stuff that Dawn is dealing with right now, a lot of men wouldn't care to deal with it. I care to deal with it because I love her, truly love her, and I'll do anything for her. Anything for her. And she just cracks me up. She's funny. She's the most unique woman I've ever met. She's definitely not boring for sure, I'll tell you that. Richard T says, Economics 101, then women entered the workforce and labor rates plummeted. Yep, you're right, dude. You're right. You see, and I know we're saying this respectfully, Richard T, but women being liberated and entering the workforce full time and being more career focused and family focused, that affected a lot of this. A lot of what we're seeing today also stems back to women being liberated and now working. No disrespect. I'm glad women have equal rights. It's all good. But look at where we're at nowadays. That's what you guys were saying at Economics 101, is that back in the days you had a single household income. The man was working, the woman was at home taking care of the household and the kids, cooking, cleaning, doing all that, right? Everyone was happy. You could afford to buy multiple homes, even a vacation home. You could afford to take a vacation or two a year and take weekends off. What happened? What happened? You're right. You guys are right. You guys are absolutely right. There's no denying that. But you try to explain that to some people, and women are thinking that, oh, you just are unhappy that, we got the power now. No. This is not about a power struggle or anything. This is about happiness and what all these changes have done to our economy. How has it affected our livelihoods and our lifestyles, right? Patty says, my husband and I always lived by the live like you were dying principle. I'm glad we did. I'd rather have the memories. A lot of people don't realize until it's gone. You're right, Patty. You're absolutely right. In other words, you're saying people take a lot of shit for granted, right? People take things for granted, right? You can't take a single thing for granted, especially when you get older. When you're younger, you don't know any better. But when you get older, you got to start appreciating every little thing, every little moment, right, Patty? Richard T says, right, plus imagine the pressure on a man before women worked. He wouldn't accept a job that wouldn't pay for a family. Right. So it forced companies to pay fair wages. Wages were better according to the times. So sure, wages were lower, but the cost of living was way lower too, right? If you were making $2 an hour back in those days, okay, then, gas would be like 10 cents a gallon, right? So that was much better a much better economy. You got more bang for your buck back then than you're doing now, even with making more money now, right? You make more money now, it gets you less. People are making more money that gets them less than making less money back then that got them more. I mean, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that, man. That's called role reversal. Have you ever read or watched a video on the paradox of female happiness? I've watched lots of videos, but if you have any of those and you want to email them to me, I'll check them out. A lot of women honestly just want to have a family. A lot of women, they won't admit it, but they want things to go back the way it was. But some women want to work. Hey, to each its own, right? But I think to a certain extent, I think most, if not all, women wish it was a lot like the way it used to be. I'm not saying that women shouldn't work or anything like that. They could do whatever they want. I'm just saying, are women really happy with the way things are nowadays after they got what they want? That's all I'm saying. It's just an honest question. That's all it is, right? I get it. I get it. We are disposable. We are a disposable society and don't appreciate things. You're right. Hey, that's sad, Patty. You're absolutely right about that. You're right. Women were happier based on surveys in the old days before they were liberated. Yeah, no, I agree, dude. I agree. Again, I'm not saying that women shouldn't have equal rights. I mean, I think something needed to be done to more so liberate women, but I think the whole movement has been taken way too far. And I think the whole movement has more so hurt women than helped women. It might help them in the workforce and stuff, but what good is having a high-paying executive job paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars when no guy's going to want to date you because you have no time to date and you don't want any kids because your job is too time-consuming? Like, do you see, ladies, what you're giving up for these careers, right? You're giving up your happiness for something you think that you want, which for some ladies, if that's what you want, if you prefer a career over a family, more power to you, but most women don't want that. Transparent Content Inc. Don't trust Robert Reese. Why? Why shouldn't I trust Robert? You think Robert's trying to use me for clicks or what? I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm still open to working with them. I'm open to working with anyone. If they try to screw me over, then I just will stop working with them. It's not a big deal. But Transparent Content Inc. I think you're Mr. Jones, by the way. Why not trust Robert Reese? What's your reasoning for that? Let me humor you for a few minutes before I go off the air. Why should I not trust Hot Facts with Robert Reese? He crowned you today? What did he crown me for? What did Robert crown me for? Because I've been too busy with more important things than to watch Rob. Oh, clowned me? What did he clown me on? What did he say? What did he call me? Spare me the time to have to go and look into this later and get a good laugh at it, bro. What did he clown me on? Or are you just stirring up the pot, Transparent Content Inc.? Because I think you're Mr. Jones. Richard T., I have a friend who is 39 talking about asking his girlfriend to marry him who is only 19. Do you think such an age gap could work? No. Not in today's day and age. Maybe back in the days of when my mom and dad got married. My dad was 39. My mom was 22. But that was back before women were already liberated, but this movement had not really gotten to where it's at today. I'll tell you right now, that 19-year-old when that 39-year-old is 49 or 59 and she's going to be 39, she's going to leave him and bang some hotter dude. Or when his money runs out, she's going to be gone. A 19-year-old nowadays has the experience of a freaking 8-year-old. Right? So honestly, I don't think at that age, in today's day and age, I think that's too young to get married. I think 24, 25 should be the earliest. And women should be getting married between 25 and 30. And then they got to start having kids soon after that, or else the biological clock is going to expire. Yeah. He clowned my online dating advice, old con of mine. Okay, well, cool. Good for him. That's fine. I wouldn't mind responding to Robert. I can respond to him. Hey, if he wants to clown my dating advice, that's all good. He said, you seem like you used to go in to chat rooms. I would go into chat rooms. Yes, I would use online dating. I would use Craigslist. I would chat with women on Yahoo Messenger throughout the days while I was working. I met women in many different ways. There's no shame in that. Many people did that, so what's the problem? If Robert wants to just find a way to use my name so he gets more clicks, then cool. Hey, I'm glad I could help you, Robert. It's all good. RR was actually clowning you over the stream with the kids on bikes a couple days ago and playing the clips of it during one of his recent streams and had an AI cartoon of your face in his thumbnail. Well, I hope he disclosed to YouTube that that's AI, because if not, he can get flagged for that. I don't care. And while that was happening, a lot of people were saying, what happened? I heard Eli edited that part. No, I went offline. As soon as those kids were getting closer and it started to escalate, I did this. All right, we're back live. So that's what I did. So there is no deleted footage. I couldn't believe some people were saying, like, if someone has the deleted footage of Eli being stalked by those kids, he edited it. I didn't edit shit. I went offline because that's unnecessary, and I know that's what you folks want. These people just want to see, the bad stuff. I want to avoid the bad stuff. I went offline, and I told them, I said, look, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to call the cops. And I was going to call, there was a cop right around the other side of the park. So that footage is not available because it didn't go out live. I went offline, and YouTube did not record it. When you go offline, the replay only records what's there while you're live. It automatically splices it together for you. Every time I go offline, when I come back, while you're here live, it says offline, but on the replay, it just pieces it together. That's all. Interesting viewpoint, but man, 19 years old. Well, dude, listen, man, we're all... Come on, dude. You want to put me on the spot? I love my woman, and my woman is beautiful for her age. She's 48. I'm 50. She's almost 49. She'll be 49 in a couple months. But, I mean, come on, dude. I mean, honestly, yeah, any guy that's in his 40s or early 50s, having a 19-year-old, it's still legal, but, man, it's just, you'll still be called, I don't want to say the word. Even though it's legal and they're an adult, I mean, really, are women at 18 and 19 years old, or even men at 18 or 19 years old, are they really adults? Maybe legally, but come on. They still have the maturity of an 8-year-old at that age. Oh, well, it sounds like you already are aware of and saw that RR stream and RR's incorrect claim that you had edited it. Well, there were many people that claimed I edited it. I didn't edit shit. This is what I did. I'll be right back. All right, we're back live. See again. I can go offline, and you folks that are here live are seeing that it says live stream offline, right? Right? And then I'll come back and continue. And the replay will cut out the part that I was on that I was offline. So I was, like I said, I was offline because here's the thing. I know that there are people out there that are looking for cringy Eli content. I'm not going to give you that if I can help it. I'm not. I'm prepared for all this, so I'll just go offline, and then you folks can say, "Hey, does anyone have the Eli deleted footage of those kids harassing him? We want to berate him for a couple hours and incite some more donations." You guys are all pathetic fools. I'll tell you that. Pathetic fools. Pathetic. Before I go off the air, if you think they're pathetic fools, put a 1 in the chat, and let's wrap this baby up. 105 minutes. An hour and 45 minutes. Patty says, Richard, I was barely 16 at work, but it's a full-time job and the forever commitment. I don't recommend it for everyone. Yeah, but Patty, back in our younger days, we're a different generation, right? The newer generations, the millennials and the Gen Zers, are a completely different generation than any other generations in history. The times have changed. There's no way a 16 or 18 or 19-year-old, at least most of them, are ready for a family and to be married. Maybe a few, there are a few that are an exception to the rule, but most are not. Economics 101, yeah, I know, but when it was mentioned that he had been clowning you, you asked how, but then you already knew. Eli was putting up a YouTube poker face. Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't happy that they were doing that to me. What kind of a poker face am I putting up? See, you guys want to spin this shit for drama views, right? And if you want to spin it for drama views, go for it. The thing is, nobody gives a shit because I went offline, I handled it, and I went on, right? But if you guys want to continue to poke at something stupid because you have nothing better to talk about, that's on you. But I got to run, folks. I'll see you all next time. Great show. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a surprise later on. Have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.